Hello, everyone, and welcome to the UBports Community Update. This is episode 15, recorded on what day is it? October 28th, 2017. We've got a great roundup of news from the community and ourselves, and questions, mostly from the community. But I have some too. For example, Marius, nice shirt.
Thank you.
I expected that isn't a question. All right, everyone filing in here. Oh yeah, people are excited in the super group. Everyone's kind of pumped. You guys pumped?
Yay.
Big show today?
Totally.
Yay!
I can't even.
Okay.
Jan had a rough night.
Yeah.
He did. We gonna talk about that later?
Yeah, we should talk about it later.
Cool.
Okay, so let's dig right into it. I will do one of the first exciting things that has been happening lately. I will just do this. You can see much, but you can see some difference here. This is actually, this one is a bit special because it's running Qt 5. You can't see anything. Well, you can see something. I should turn down the brightness. Give me a moment here. There we go.
Automatic brightness off. Yes, now it's.
There we go. Now you can see this is actually running Xenial with Qt 5.9. It's just good stuff happening here. And this is something we call it Project Sudoku, as you might have heard, flowing around here. And you also see pictures flowing around from everywhere, and also videos on YouTube. Thank you for that. And this is something really exciting that we will announce later on the time. But for now, let's focus on OTA 3. Jan, take it away.
That was too quick.
I did not expect that. Yeah, OTA 3 is making some progress. If you kept an eye on the GitHub issue tracker, you might have noticed we have some issues, but we now have a list of stuff we want to get done for OTA 3, and it's a little more realistic than the stuff we had before. Priorities now really usability issues and some security issues. For example, like Blueborn and Crack, which came up not so much recently, are already patched on the RC channel, but are not yet on stable. And then we have some which are still not unstable, like the new Fairphone, the new batch Fairphone. We have a really interesting new feature. I don't know if you've seen this already if you're on the RC channel. I think it was already covered in Q&As, but you can now press and hold the spacebar on the keyboard, and then the whole keyboard turns into some sort of touchscreen, and you can really precisely move the cursor around and edit text more efficiently, because that was a huge pain in the ass on Ubuntu Touch before, and now it's a lot better. Yeah. Remind me, what date for OTA 3?
This is the swipe thing. I don't have anything typed, but as you can
That was
see,
not
if you
the
hold
question.
space button, you can swipe it. Yeah, I was just I was focusing on picking that up, but next thing, what was my question?
What date did we set for OTA 3?
OTA 3 we have set for in 3 weeks is what we're aiming for, which is a reasonable goal, I would say, because as Jan said, it's mostly usability and bug fixes. And this is also because we are now getting so close to Xenial, and at the same time we don't want to introduce something new to Vivid, and then we have to move it over to Xenial when we get that in hopefully really short amount of time. And that's why we are focusing on really specific bug fixes and just things that are plain annoying and security issues.
Is that covered? Anything else?
I think we're done.
Yep. I think that's for what we have to say about OG3. Expect
Wow,
that
we've
to come
flew
pretty
through
soon.
those. We've been up for like 5 minutes.
Oh, well, you know, things are going quick in the UBports group. You know that things are spinning along like Sonic on a treadmill.
Gotta go fast.
So I gotta go fast. And also one of the things I had to mention is that we also had a delay in the Devil channel because Canonical stopped building Vivid packages in Launchpad, which also is a big issue for us since we was relying on that. So now we have to move over to our own infrastructure, and that have taken some time. So that's why some of the changes that we have made lately hasn't gone into Devil, and that Devil have moved slowly. And then it's also one of the biggest reasons to move to Xenial is that we have a still supported base by Canonical. We still get support security updates for Canonical, and just much more secure OS in general. And also we are not obsolete anymore, since Vivid is, how many years old is it now? I don't even remember. 1504. Yeah, but they haven't been out for support for longer than that.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be supported for 9 months, and now it's been supported for 30 months.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that Canonical shutdown essentially the Vivid repositories, so the 15 of repositories is the reason why we also had some stagnant work in the last couple of weeks on the 1504 side. If you were on RC, on the RC channel, then you also saw some ghost updates, just updated and nothing happened. That is also because of this, because a new version got built with the PPA system, but no changes were inside. So and it was just really confusing, and we also didn't expect this. So we were a little surprised there.
Yeah, that was a huge surprise. It was just one day I pretty much woke up and saw an email that our build had failed because Canonical rejected the packages, and I'm like, oh no. So yeah, that was a big pain that we had to go through, but most of it is sorted out now, and the build will start running pretty soon. Well, hopefully this weekend we will get it done. We now have a pretty solid infrastructure to build our own packages. We have been using this for all Xenial stuff, building purely using our build system, and I can say it builds Mir, which is our biggest components, in 20 minutes, while the PPA took 3.5 hours to build it. That can see the difference on what powerful hardware we actually have. And with this, we can also build it much easier for developer to pull. For example, when you send a pull request, it will automatically build that packages and give you a repository URL, which you can send a pull request and just press a button and install it on your phone without even needing to download any packages. The phone does it automatically using the DAP package system. And we also want to build a CLI tool. We now have the CLI tool. I don't know if you tried it, but that's one for the PPA, which is called QA scripts. We want to also move that over to our new build system, where we can type one single command and you have the changes that you put on with the pull request or even merged and in a Devil branch. So what we have done is that each branch responds to what repository it goes to. So for example, if you push to Devil_Xenial, it will go to the Devil_Xenial repository on our repo.ubports.com. Yeah. Well,
Yeah. So if you didn't understand any of those words, essentially it will make testing for us a lot easier, because we are not only reliant on the daily builds on the Devil channel, but we can also independently update, which was already possible before, but it will be a little easier. And probably piggybacking on that, if you saw the whole extravaganza we did about testing OTA 2, what followed that is that we set up more formally our QA team now. We have some who already did some testing. If you're interested in joining that effort, it's essentially using the phone, and if something fails, you exactly write down what fails. If you're asked, hey, can you please check if this and that is working on that version, then you do this, and you provide feedback. If you're interested in helping with that, yeah, contact us essentially, or maybe me, because I'm mostly involved with that. You can either contact me on Telegram at Neo3rd, or an email, jan@ubeports.com.
And maybe to add that the QA people will also work with our GitHub tracker. That means they will be part of the workflow, how new and unconfirmed problems, issues, or feature requests or questions will be treated. That means in the future, we will have, let's say, the confirmation tested by QA as well as the resolution. So we try to come away from the thing that developers are testing their own code, like it should be in every good software development, so that we have a principle of separated testing and developing. I think this will be a great enhancement. The GitHub workflow we already documented. We will put this in place more or less now. Let's say maybe already a while, but at least after finishing OTA 3, so that we can react also faster on things that are now in the issues. I think we have roughly 200 issues open now. So some of you have to ask for patience if some of these things were not responded or were not followed up by us. But mostly it's about confirmation and finding the right description so that the developer can work on this. The QA team will help with this, and I'm already appreciating this very much, because it's not always an easy job to be QA. This is one of the hardest parts, because you're always between the front lines of the users and the developers.
I will just step in for a second here and just say hello to Wayne's kids and Wayne himself. Hello. Okay.
Okay, so that's our QA.
That's a Q&A. Hello. Okay, so was we done with that topic?
I think so.
What?
In English? I didn't hear that.
Oh, yeah, we wasn't done with it in English, I guess. I will take one topic that excites me a lot, which is Converge and Libertine. I will start off with Libertine and what's the status on Libertine. We got a lot of questions about X11 apps and desktop apps, and yes, they do work. They do work pretty nicely. The only issue that you might see is that, first of all, scaling is quite a lot wrong if you do it on a phone. It's fine on a tablet, but on a phone, of course, for example, LibreOffice will be extremely small. Second of all is that, for example, LibreOffice is a heavy application. It might not perform as well as you expect. It actually does perform really well on the phones that I tried with our core devices. It does function really well. But if, for example, we try it on the BQ E4.5, I don't think it even would start, because it has so low amount of RAM and performance in it. But we are not in a stage where we can say that this is user friendly. You can't just press one button and download an app. Because first of all, we don't have everything installed properly there, because you need to download some extra tools to actually install Libertine, and that requires remounting the file system and all this, which is not user friendly at all. So this is something we really want to get in and make some really progress on this. But as we said before, we first want to jump ship where the grass is greener on the Xenial side, and that way we can start improving these things, which also include converge, which actually works pretty well. I use, for example, Mirrorcast on my OnePlus 1 to watch YouTube videos, cat videos, because why not? And it works fine for that. Mirrorcast works fine for things that doesn't require mouse input, because you can't really, it's hard to use a desktop that has 1 to 2 millisecond delays from you move the mouse to see the mouse moving on the screen. That's impossible to use. It's not impossible, it's really hard. It's not a good experience. So that's why we also want to move to Xenial there, because there is some improvements on the ETHCast side, which is America side. But as I said, these are things we want to improve later on. Right now, they do work, not user-friendly, but we want to improve this. Anyone else want to add to that?
No, I don't think so. I think you covered that pretty well. Convergence.
Okay. Convergence.
Yeah.
Have you tried it on the Nexus 5 on 1604 yet?
I have not. Should we do it live?
We'll do it live.
We will do it live.
Probably gonna crash. Let's be honest.
Someone talk about something while I set up.
Okay. Well, so we also have one more. Ooh, is everything okay?
Yeah. Go ahead.
We could mention that the Samsung guys, they started doing also something that will be interesting in the future. They want to have this convergent, I don't know, Linux on Android stuff. What we think is that at the moment we have the better cards in this game, because we have a working system, and they seem to build up some hype on that. But still, we don't think that this will work like they expect. So in the end, there are two possibilities. Either they just have Android apps on full screen then, or they have a container that runs a Linux version, which is actually running in Android. But this is far from what we can provide with our native let's say, approach. So I think that, again, some parties on the market try to implement convergence as the philosophy is great. But I could think that we have really the better cards at the moment. Even if it's weird that we can be compared with Android or with other big players, but yeah. The only problem what we have is that we don't have a nice availability of hardware for our operating system at the moment. For the
yeah, so what Samsung is trying there is essentially you're running Android on your phone, just like you always do, and then you can spin up a Linux desktop inside of that and just run Linux applications there. So it's many people are not familiar with it, but if you Google Ubuntu for Android, it's a project that Canonical had before Ubuntu Touch, and it was essentially the same approach. And it's also very similar to what Maru OS is still doing. But the problem with that is that it's separated. The both systems can access the same storage, of course, but it's still separated. And on Ubuntu Touch, it's all GNU Linux. It's not Android and then you run some Linux stuff on top. No, it's all the same, and that's where we are at the moment, and that's a lot more interesting in the future. We have some problems still. We talked about Libertine not being the multi-purpose solution we would like it to be, but we'll get there. And when we get there, it's going to be awesome.
Okay, so let's do this this live.
We'll do it live.
With a dongle. I will now connect HDMI. I already connected the Bluetooth mouse and keyboard.
Everyone down.
Should you be wearing a helmet?
I should.
Oh.
First of all,
wow.
It's not in desktop mode, which is...
No,
it's fine. It's fine. It's just my shady cable is not 100%. So let's... Why is this not in desktop mode? That's... you should be in desktop mode.
You can switch in UT Tweak tool.
Yeah, I don't have that installed. Well, let me install that.
Let's go to the Open Store.
Let's go to the
we
Open
can
Store.
show that the Open Store.
Can you turn down the brightness of your monitor by any chance?
I can.
Sorry, Flo.
Oh. It's nice to see me
Okay,
right in front of the monitor.
It's perfect. We see now Mario's fixing everything. You can see it. If some people would ask us, okay, are your Q&As prepared and staged? And we say yes, they wouldn't believe us because you cannot stage this. It's really pure life experience, and but I think it's really honest what we're doing. Yeah? We're just trying to show you.
Open Store does not seem to like this scaling. Let me try.
Let's try to switch back and see if this works.
It should scale automatically.
You can just install the app locally without the screen attached. That should work, or it could work.
So it's just not detecting.
Here we go. Ah.
What? Oh.
It was just a bug. No.
Oh, okay.
It's just a bug, everyone.
We're in desktop.
There we go. Yay. This is...
So ship it. No.
Ship it. It's fixed. It's fixed. This is also to prove you guys that I'm not
Have
lying.
you tried turning it off and on again?
I just did. Let's see the back. Can you actually see the text at all?
Nope. No.
It's very white.
It's just a wipe screen.
Or maybe just turn on the light in your room, then the contrast will be better. It's so dark around it.
Oh God.
Can you move the camera closer? That is the opposite of what I wanted.
No, I can see, but yeah, that's fine. Can you actually see the text now?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, so now first let's do LSB. Underscore English keyboard no. Dash A. Look at that. Look at that. This is senior, guys.
It's proof.
It's proof. I will just increase. Senior. It's senior, everyone. And also, mouse, go away. I will also do, if I can find out this English keyboard list. How do I make type? English keyboard. Hello, please don't fail me.
The key above enter.
The P above enter. Where's enter?
Return.
There's no key there. There we go. There we go. Lib qt. Look at that, guys. Where should you look?
Where are we looking?
Here.
4.8?
Yes.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
5.9, 5.9, 5.9. This is an amazement. Also, let's do some speed test of some apps. Let's start the clock. Okay. Open.
Oh boy. Let's not start the clock.
Let's not start the clock. Okay,
let's start the UBports app.
Calculator start. Okay, UBports app start.
Ooh,
fine.
Wow.
let's do that again. UBports app. 1, 2, bang.
That's not how time works.
Let's.
It's so fast, I can't even code it fast.
File manager. Bang. It's
don't
open,
think that
but
works either.
it's not. It does. I tried. Okay, it doesn't work. Music. Why do every app start in such a small window? Let's do that again. Bum. See, it's open. You guys still here? Or did I lose my internet?
We're completely fascinated by the speed. Everybody's quiet.
Camera. Let's open the camera.
Let's open the camp.
Of course, you can't see anything because my
I
phone.
have to pick up the phone.
I can't do it. Nah. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Oh.
The phone is down there.
Okay.
That's a camera.
Okay, so keep in mind, everyone, this is a development preview. Not intended for daily use. I already saw some bug reports.
No.
Hey, I can use this. We tried to communicate it everywhere, but people are still flashing it. Of course, you can do this. You can just install it and get your usual system back afterwards if you just install the normal system over it. And of course, it's fun to test it and to see what's working. And it's actually surprising to us how much is already working.
Also, I have to say that this is the Qt 5.9, which have even less stuff working. Like, for example, clock and calendar and all these things do work in the other Qt version. This Qt version it's really fresh. I got it working this week, so I did expect bugs to be, but I did not expect it to be this good as it is. As you can see, the UBports app is a great example on speed.
We need to point out one thing. We need to point out that these apps have not been recompiled for this version.
No, that's also a thing.
What we took actually is the current state of the app for 1504 and the old Qt, and just put everything on 1604 and the new Qt. And I would say a lot of things are working. That is really astounding. I did not expect this because we were already always afraid that we have to recompile all the apps and have a lot of testing. That means we save a lot of time when we go to 1604 because not all the apps need to be recompiled, and users will be able to use the old apps with maybe some small drawbacks, but that stuff that works will work, and that's great. So the road to 1604 has become a lot shorter the last 2 weeks.
And this is to just add to more on the senior stuff. This is the new settings app, by the way. You can see.
Yeah, nobody can see that.
Kind of like the new GNOME settings, if you've seen that.
Well, it's
list.
Yeah, it's kind
It's
of
very wide. If that's teaser enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's very wide. Yeah, someone can download the images and do some editing and find out what I really showed there.
In the blog,
but yeah, I think that
does include screenshots.
Yeah, let's do that. I will take some screenshots. Okay, that's enough teaser for this week. Now, everyone should be excited about this. As you could probably see, I didn't have browser installed because I still need to figure out that I need to build Chromium and all these things on Qt 5.9. So there is a lot of bugs that need to be fixed, but less than we ever expected. And now it's a normal phone again.
Whoa.
Yeah, I need to disconnect my mouse first. Now it's a normal phone again.
Okay.
When I disconnect the number.
Okay.
Cool.
Should we slide into the question sections, the user questions?
I did have one more thing from
Okay,
Wayne,
yeah.
who we've mentioned earlier. We have noticed that people coming into the supergroup are kind of like, what do I do? This is a lot of people, and I'm just about to shout a message to them, which is something that we've always done in the days of IRC and stuff, and everyone always says, we ask, is it okay if I ask a question? And they say, don't ask to ask. And then you're like, So we're trying to solve that with humans because we're humans. So.
Maybe you are.
I'm not.
Oh, You Never Sleep. Which is a really good remix that you should all check out. I Never Sleep. It's on the UBports SoundCloud. Anyway, so we've created the, if I find the acronym, the UBFR, UBports First Response Team. This was created by Wayne and @CrashBurn on Telegram. That's Will. And it's just a team where, someone joins and we say, hey, is it okay if we PM you? And if they say yes, which hopefully they do, we just kind of invite them in and make them feel like they're welcome here, because we know that sometimes you jump into a room full of a bunch of people who are already chatting and you don't know what to do. So hopefully we can fix that up, make it a little bit better, and encourage some more people to come in, join our community, and contribute. Did I sell that well?
Yep.
I think so.
So if you'd like to be a member of that, you don't really need a bunch of technical knowledge or anything. You can email Wayne at wayne@ubports.com, or you can PM Will on Telegram. He is @crash_burn. How'd I do, Wayne? Pete, just message me. Tell me. And we'll wait for that to roll over. Okay, now we can move on to questions.
Okay, let's ask the first question. It's about, actually there are two questions regarding apps and open store. The first one is how the apps and scopes move to open store. And I think we explained already on last Q&A that there's a little problem with just taking all the apps from the canonical store and just filling up the open store with all the stuff, because a lot of things are not maintained on the canonical store. So we're thinking about that we only move that apps where we know, okay, first of all, there's user interest. Second of all, there will be a high probability that somebody will maintain it in the future. And also, basically, you cannot, if somebody doesn't want his app to be moved, you cannot just move it. So it's really hard to decide, okay, what is of interest for the community. Maybe we will ask the users and set up a questionnaire, a poll for that. On the other hand, maybe it's just that we make a huge backup of everything that is now in the canonical store to keep it for later. And if really somebody wants the old but still useful app to be in open store, we can add it on request. We should not just load all the apps and scopes into the open store, because we don't want to bloat it unnecessarily. That's one of, let's say, to improve the quality of the apps there. It's one thing that we should filter a little bit. I don't really know how we will filter that. It's not decided yet. And but we will make sure that at least we have a backup of the store before it goes down. I think this we can do. Yeah. On the second side, there was the question if the canonical store icon and scope can be removed and replaced with open store. So basically, we said yes, we will remove this by time, but as long as the canonical store is working and it's possible to download things from there, maybe we should keep it in some way. But the big orange icon and the scope are candidates to be removed, of course, because there is no use in having that.
But we will not put the open store in the same place. The reason it was set up that way is because it was the canonical store was originally a scope, or is still a scope, and the idea with scopes was that they can be launched using these rectangular tiles, like the big orange one you see on the home screen at the moment. But then the system developed in a different direction, and the store is the only one using this tile, which is a little awkward if you're not used to it, and you essentially only find it in older where the other scopes have these tiles as well. the Open Store such a tile, because the Open Store is an app, it works a lot better as an app, because for the old canonical click store, some components that just cannot be handled by scope then are integrated in the system settings, and some are integrated in the app scope itself. So it's just very very scattered, and it's a lot cleaner now with the Open Store because it's all in one place, and that's the Unix philosophy, right? Do one thing and do it well.
There was a question from Bjarne. We can just override existing packages. Which update command should we use? Oh, was this just for update via apt-get maybe? But I answer a question that is similar. The Open Store will detect the old version from canonical and will use the Open Store version if it's available. And there is a small text saying that this is a version that is not from Open Store, but he can update those things. So it's a smooth transition anyway. So when finally the old canonical store goes down and we remove the possibility for the scope, or we remove the scope at all, I think transition is very bumpless and smooth for everyone. Yeah. So, and Dwayne confirmed that there will be a poll for the apps. So this is something done by our marketing team. Yeah. Yeah, just look out for announcements on the supergroup, on the forum, or on Twitter even. When there is a poll for some apps, then throw in your thoughts. What are the most important apps for you, and you want to have in any case on the Open Store? That would help us greatly.
Just move everything from the old stores, because there's some, as Flo said, unmaintained stuff that is not really working. There's a lot of web apps that are not really just web app containers that can easily be recreated with the more powerful web app container tools there are now, and it just doesn't make sense to flood the Open Store with a lot of dare I say crap, but it's better to do it manually, because we don't want to move everything, we don't want to flood it, just for the sake of the number being as high as possible. We will try to keep an eye on quality there. That's a cat, Marius.
It is. You must be a God. Try to make a joke there, but they completely failed.
You probably wouldn't have translated well anyway.
Yeah.
Like building
just laugh at
the
the sad clown, everyone. Don't laugh at the joke.
Don't laugh at Jan. Jan is not funny. I'm the funny one. Okay, next question.
Okay, so regarding apps and Open Store, I think that's it for the moment. Should we move to the next one? We had a few questions about our Patron goals and what we're going to do with them, or if we're going to change a little bit. One of them was that was questioning the thing that I think the original goal was that we need funds for a server, for new hardware. Now that we got a sponsor for our ARM server, of course we can do something else with that goal. And the second one was about there was a remark if we're going to hire more people, so, or to increase the size of the crew as it was. I think yes, we're going to do this, but no, it's not decided how. The thing is really that if you can hire someone to work for us, it's perfect. But of course, we love to have people that have already experience with the system. Yeah. So, like Marius, it's great, but we cannot just replace Marius with some, or add some other developer that has not worked at all with us, because you will have a very hard time to grow into the system and get experience. But yes, I think it's time that we increase the crew and also offer some payment for this, because it's really, if only part-time, or if people are only working their free time, it's really hard to come forward with some of the topics. Yeah, and we can greatly increase and enhance the speed of development and building the operating system when we have people that can dedicate their time to us, because we can pay them for this. That's unfortunately, on this planet, it's always about some money at the end, if it's about your living and what you do with your life, because only few of us have so much money that they don't need to think about how to get it. They have it already. And all the others that don't have it, well, they have to have a day job, or they have something else to make a living. And then in the free time, like me, I'm just a free time developer for UBports. I try to do as much as I can, but of course, during the day, I have to run to my office and be somebody else. So maybe in the future, if there is funding from around the world, we can hire more people, and they can work full time. But at the moment, let's say we are thinking about one another, let's say. I think that's all we can say for the moment.
I think I can add to that and also say, if someone in the community that listen have some ideas, or maybe they would like to work for us full time, please message me or anyone else about this, and we can see what we can get going, because we really would like to have someone that already in a community, as Florian said. We want something that knows the system, that doesn't use weeks or months to get into par with the actual development. Or if you yourself want to work for us, please contact us.
So let's get back to the Patreon milestone real quick. In general, we set this milestone up about our ARM server at the point where we didn't know yet we were going to be able to get a sponsor for that. And after that, we didn't change it back again because it always triggers an email to all our Patreons, and it's a little awkward, and we don't have to. Yeah, it generates more questions than it really answers, and that's why we didn't do that. But as you can imagine, more funds for the project help the project either way. And if a milestone is reached, we don't always make it really dependent if it's already reached on Patreon, or if we say, okay, we really need this now, and we can wait for the last $100 to come together on Patreon. You guys know we are also collecting donations on other platforms. We also have some companies we collaborate with, where we probably can get something started sooner. So it's not always, if there's a Patreon milestone, it's not always directly connected. It's not always directly dependent on if we can really do this. When we set up the milestone, it's our planning, this promise, and we try to update it, but it's not always dependent on that. So, yeah.
Yeah. To add,
but you can imagine more funds for the project are always good. We are not wasting your money. We try to be transparent about it. But yeah, it's not going away. It's helping a lot, actually.
Yeah. To add to this, that we got a sponsor server is just a big plus, which means it's more to the community itself. And with this funding, we can do a lot more with. For example, we can, which is one of the biggest things, is to have new development devices and actually get developers on board, get people involved with that actually do development and get them a device, or QA testing to get them a device. This is a big thing because to touch work, you need a physical device at this point, and that's also what money will go to. They will go to, like Jan said, if it says that it goes to the ARM server, it means that it goes to the whole project. UBports is a whole. It doesn't directly tie the money to our server, because the servers change all the time, and we didn't know that we got sponsored was actually kind of a surprise to us. We didn't expect this. We got into a deal, and we didn't expect they to sponsor us, and we were really happy that they sponsored, because in the end, and more to the project means more success, and means that we can actually do more with our time and our money. Money is also a thing and driving force, as I said before. To give someone a device really helped the project a lot, because as I said, no one can do a development without a device, and for someone developer to buy a device just for UBports, it's not something people normally do, because first of all, they don't know the system, so they would like to get into the system in some way before spending money on it. So for example, an Android developer to get into the Ubuntu world would either require that he has a device already that he can flash, because it's an old device that he can just flash on because he has a new one that he can try out, or that someone helping get into the project. I'm not saying that we give up devices here and there. We are giving out devices to people that need it, and that stays in the project, and we know.
Okay, let's stay with the funding theme. We did get a question about LibraPay, and this is something we've gotten before, so it's nothing new. Have any of you ever used LibraPay?
Nope.
No. I've took a look at their model, and it's like you need to escrow your funds and then give them to someone. Am I understanding how it works?
Got no clue.
I think we should investigate further. So my answer would be no, we are not on LibraPay at the moment. If it makes some sense for us, it could make some sense, but we have to take a deeper look. Yeah. There are some, let's say, reservations against Patreon, which I personally don't understand, but it can be. I think still Patreon is a good trade-off because it has a lot, or a very wide. It's known very widely on this planet, and it's very accessible. But of course, still, LibraPay sounds more to be into open source and free and independent IT world, let's say. So it could make sense, sure, to increase the number of potential people that don't want to use Patreon but still want to support us, except they have a very strange business model, like it sounds now, because escrow is always a little bit difficult for us, especially as long as we are not a foundation. But we should take a look, maybe, yeah.
But there are already alternative ways of donating. So at the moment, we are using Patreon, PayPal, and Bitcoin. So there are 3 options at the moment. We can look into alternatives, but there has to be really a demand for it, and there has to be an upside in using it. So
yeah, that's also,
we can look into it, but we won't just set up every paying service there is, because then it's just a huge administrative overhead.
Especially if there are only maybe a bunch of users. If it's only for 5 users, we have to think about if it makes sense. But okay, the question was asked once more, and we will take once more a look. What's up with LibraPay? Yeah. Okay.
And that is where we go.
Anything
Excellent.
for the funding still? I don't think so. Let's see. Supergroup approves.
YouTube.
Okay. Looks good. Then there's a very specific question from Ivan. Hi, Ivan, by the way. What about the Xenial docs and build trees for OP3 and OP5? Okay, this is one for Marius again, I think.
yes, yes, and yes.
And there you go.
Yeah, to more specific what I said there, senior docs, yes, coming up pretty soon. I'm working on some docs. Something we need docs. 1+3 here. Also images Android 3 coming up. Same for 1+5. Images and docs and coming up. As you might know, I do have quite a lot to do. So these kind of things are also not the highest priority of mine to get, because we do have quite a lot of other things to fix. This is just something I do on my free time outside of UBports, inside UBports some way, but it's going a bit slower than things that I actually are paid to work on. These are things that, as I said, do outside of my paid work.
Yep. And at the same time, while he's working on the docs for 1604, we're also making the install script, which was a huge pain to get work correctly for 1604, so that it, installs 1604 on Holium devices correctly, and a lot of things going on. We've been troubleshooting a lot to get this running. And
also with the install script, not to be confused, this install script that he's talking about is the low level. It's called rootstock. It's the thing that, they're packaged together in really low level. It's not user-friendly tool at all. It's what we would use. It's not to be confused with the UBports install at all.
Right. Sorry about that. I say as I bang this phone on the desk.
Be careful.
I'm trying. It's got like Gorilla Glass. It'll be fine.
But basically, the good message is here that we are having potential new devices that are on the market that are not too old and that people can get hold of. I don't know the pricing for Oppo 3 and Oppo 5, but I think Oppo 5 could be a little bit more expensive. Huh?
I'll compare to a Samsung, but
okay, but still,
fairly cheap, to be honest. They are like 400 euros.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a flagship smartphone with a flagship price, but you get what you pay for, definitely.
Yeah, but okay, that covers that. I will take next topic, which is an interesting one. It's something we have been discussing for a while. Is to provide to provide.
You need some help.
My English. Yeah, you need to pay more to get the English out of me, right? I'm empty for English at this point. I'm like a vending machine. You have to put coins in to get the English out.
Okay, so what he was trying to say is a topic we've been talking about a lot, especially recently, has been these high-profile security issues that affect all Android or all Linux devices, including ours. So with that out, you can take it away.
Well, I think we are thinking about two different things, but my topic was community channels, to be able to provide.
I only saw one more card in the notes. See, we planned this out very well, everyone. Anyway.
Yeah, community channels is a way that we want to provide infrastructure to the community to be able to create devices that are not officially supported by the community, by the UBports Foundation, in a way that, for example, give an example in 1+3 and 1+5, if I, for example, want to push them out, I push them first to a community channel because it's only maintained by me, but then one day it's up to power and we can move it into the foundation where you get promised update like regular updates. You get promised security updates and these things that come with the foundation. But on the other side, we have the community channels that are purely maintained by the community or one person or more, and that way provide the same security as they do on. Of course, can provide the same security, but they're not promised to provide the same security. They're not promised to stay up. They're not promised to keep maintaining because it's, as I said, made by one or multiple person. But most of the time, it will be one person that maintain. For example, like the industry. Take that one example. I made it. I pushed it up to the community channel. I keep developing on it on my free time. When it's ready, we can take that and move it into the main track, and it will still can develop on it. I know this, but support from the core team to actually work on that device. And what was the topic you wanted to take, Dalton?
You've completely shot me down for the day.
I'm sorry.
No, it was about security updates. We have also covered it, and mostly known as crack and blueborn attacks. And yeah, how? And of course, then the second question is how we're going to deal with that in the future. So maybe we can give our community a little bit reassuring that this will be taken care of.
Both crack and blueborn were fixed very quickly after they were discovered, but on RC and Devil, so it's not unstable yet.
But as I wanted to say on this is, when we move to Senior, we will get support and security updates from Canonical, which happens pretty much instantly when something is fixed. So that's also a reassuring that why we should move to Senior pretty soon is that we still are supported. We still are on LTS, so we still have to 2021, isn't it? Something like that. We are still supported to get security updates, and Canonical will provide the middle layer, and then we handle the top layer and also the bottom low level end. But as I said, Canonical will have the middle layer, like all the Bluetooth stuff that happens there, and pretty much it will. Well, on that side, it will both get the security updates from Debian, from Ubuntu, and also get the security updates from us. So you have three safe layers you can actually rely on. Right now, we only Divid doesn't have any support else than us. So that's a big reason to move to Senior.
Yeah, so far we just manually applied the patches, the security patches for everything from Xenial on the Vivid packages. But in the future, when we have Senior, it will just be seamless. Everything.
Yeah, and also what we need.
We will just build a new rootfs, and then we have the new packages in, and we're done.
Yeah. Now we have to backport things. Backport means taking a newer version and take the fixes and make them work on the older version, which is sometimes a pain. Ubuntu. No, it's Ubuntu. Yes.
No.
Ubuntu.
No.
Ubuntu.
You're a bun and I'm a bun too.
I had a
maybe
great
that helps
conversation
to remembering it.
Sorry?
Right.
Maybe it helps to remember the misspelled part if you remember just I'm a bun and you're a bun too. That sounds like a meme. That's our Bantu meme. You're a bun too,
more like
Wayne. Yes, Wayne. Wayne, you have to say I'm a bun. I think
it sounds more like a pickup line, if you ask me. Like, hey girl, you're on a bun too.
Yes, I think we'll find this in the next audio cast. Maybe let's see.
Probably.
One of the next ones.
The quote.
Again, Bantu revisited. Okay, guys, that's actually how we sometimes end our Q&As with
But wait.
humor. No? Oh, wait. There's
We said we would
More
talk about
double.
why Jan is so tired.
Oh yes,
Oh.
that's exactly what I'm pointing to. So now we have to bring some, let's say, from our community, not topic related chit chat about why Jan looks like he had no sleep for some time.
Yeah, the reason why I look like I had no sleep for some time is because I did not have some sleep for some time. So Florian and me were at a how do you call it? A sprint in the Netherlands.
Gathering, sprint, workshop, whatever, with our guys at Smooth in the Netherlands, in the wonderful city of Breda. Did I pronounce this right? Probably.
More or less.
And
so
Jan
what we were.
Jan always liked to take the.
Oh, now we lost Norway. Jan always likes to take the train or the bus. This is one of the things you need to know now.
There was no plane that would have flown at a fitting time. But let's say first what we worked on, we tried to get some groundwork for setting up the foundation. Now straightened out, so that's still making progress. I know it's been quiet for a while now, but we're tinkering with that behind the scenes. Yeah, Smooth is a company that's also helping us with that.
Yeah, but also to add to that, I was also there inside the laptop, so don't worry, I'm still in the game. I had some other medical things to handle that made me not be able to go this time. But I was, as I said, inside a laptop on Hyperion we used, and I was still following the guys, but I was running Linux, I guess.
Yeah, so it was a very productive session again, but we don't always fly everybody in. So, but then Florian just took the easy route home and just took the plane. And for me, there was no plane at a fitting time. And I thought, okay, I will just in the evening, I will just take the last train that's possible. That would have been at 11:30. But I missed that one, so I had to spend the night at the station in Utrecht.
And I told him not to get mugged. Incredibly helpful.
Yeah, it's really crazy. If you've ever been to Utrecht station, it's just a huge hall, and there's no like heated waiting rooms or something, and it's really cold already in the Netherlands. So it was like 2 degrees, and there's so many security people everywhere in the station. Was like 50 security people there, and everywhere where you try to go to like warm up a little, they tell you, hey, no, you have to leave. You have to just go back to the main hall. Just sit down there. And then if you try to sleep in the main hall, if you try to put your feet up or something, they tell you, hey, no, you have to leave. You have to just sit down straight with your feet on the ground, and that's it. So I had to do that for 7 hours. It was really a pain in the ass. I got some work done on the documentation as well because I had my laptop with me, but then my battery started to die on me, and yeah, it was just really annoying.
Me and Florian.
But I had an interesting conversation. That's what I wanted to say about the Ubuntu pronunciation with an African guy who is not familiar with Ubuntu, the operating system, but Ubuntu, the African philosophy. So he saw my jacket, which has just Ubuntu written on the back, from across the hall, and he shouted, "Ubuntu, Ubuntu!" It was really fun. What's happening here? Is the revolution starting and nobody told me? But no, he was just really excited.
But I have to say that me and Florian has now decided that we will first fly to Germany, pick up Jan, so we are 2 persons following Jan all the time, so we can safely bring him to the place and bring him back home.
Idea, yeah, because now I really arrived, I think at 3 at home, and we always start the calls at. We try to start the calls, the preparation calls for the Q&A a little early, but I was just so tired because then after that on the train I also didn't really catch much sleep because I was so full. So I just fell asleep and I woke up like 10 minutes before the call started. But yeah, I'm safe and sound home now, so
That's good.
You can take me off your prayer list.
Okay, so we're all glad that this adventure ended well, and you can see that
I slept well, though.
Yeah, of course, Norway was sleeping well. But we really take challenges to come together at a certain place. It's not so easy with an international team. We already did it now the second time more or less successful, and we hope we can keep it up like this. So during these times, we want really to bring forward the items that otherwise are not so easy to discuss when you are on a remote with the people on a webcam or a web call on the Hangouts and so.
I had to add why we actually going together instead of having online. Is because when we are together, we do get quite a lot more work done because it's more efficient. You sit together, you have a pages together, you type together, and yeah, you get everything so much more efficient and more you get thinking through sitting together. Like okay, it's fine to sit on Hangouts, but it's not the same. You don't get the same work done, and it's just sit together and actually do it in real life.
Yes.
Exactly.
Good.
Okay. Have we been rambling for long enough now?
I think so.
I think we told a good story at the end, yes, as usual.
Okay, so let's leave it here, and don't forget to down below and slap the like button, and also don't forget to ping Jan and say good night. Okay, good night, Jan.